Big breaking news out of the NBA where Deandre Ayton has agreed to a 4-year, $133 million offer sheet with the Indiana Pacers. That is according to ESPN. The Suns now have 48 hours to match what is the largest offer sheet in league history. Taking a look at his past couple seasons, they're the number 1 overall pick in 2018 in the NBA draft. Deandre Ayton averaged just over 17 points, 10 rebounds per game in his last season. And there you see what he has looked like through his first couple seasons there when it comes to points per game, rebounds per game, his field goal percentage there through his first 4 seasons. NBA history at the top, going from 2018 to 2022. But this raises a lot of questions when it comes to the Suns. Let's welcome in Avery Johnson here. Avery, what do you think about what is going down now between the Pacers and Deandre Ayton, and the Suns are now on the clock?
Yeah, this is no surprise. We've been expecting this now for some time since free agency started. And we've been expecting this since last year in the sense that we knew Deandre Ayton would get basically a max contract. If it wasn't with the Suns, it'll be somebody else. He's a very talented young man. When you average 17 points a game and you shoot 64% from the field, you know, he's had now experiences of going up against Giannis in the NBA Finals. Obviously, they were upset in the second round of Game 7. Mavericks at home in an embarrassing fashion. It's really hard to lose this type of talent. So it'll be interesting to see what the Suns do in the next 48 hours. You used to have to wait 7 to 10 days to respond to a restricted free agent signing an offer sheet. I'm glad they've changed the rules, but these next 48 hours is going to be pretty interesting to see what the Suns do here with Deandre Ayton.
Well, and this puts the Suns in a tough position. I mean, Deandre Ayton was a key piece when it came to potentially getting Kevin Durant, which is where you wanted to see Kevin Durant end up, is with Phoenix there. And we thought for a long time we're going to have to see what happens with KD, and then Deandre Ayton will be handled. What does this do for their chances, if he goes, of getting Kevin Durant?
Well, I think it reduces their chances to get Kevin Durant because obviously this was going to have to be some sort of a 3-team trade, and Indiana was going to have to be involved because all of the pieces that need to go back and forth. So this definitely reduces the Suns' chances of landing Kevin Durant. Not that I'm saying it can't happen. It can still happen. They're going to have to just get very, very creative, especially with the Nets, who I think are in a dry position because they're not in a rush to make a bad deal for Kevin Durant, especially after what a guy like Rudy Gobert commanded in that trade between Minnesota and Utah. They got a lot back in return, Utah did, for Rudy Gobert. So we know that Kevin Durant's going to have a significantly larger market if the Nets can find it.
Avery, give me your prediction. What happens over the next 24 hours? Do we see Deandre Ayton with a new team? Did the Suns match? What do you think happens?
Yeah, it's hard. I can't see the Suns allowing Deandre Ayton to just walk out the door like this. They've invested a lot. I mean, Monty Williams, who's an outstanding coach, James Jones, who's doing a magnificent job as a GM. You know, this was a team that played their worst game as the 95th game of the season last year when they lost to the Maverick. Otherwise, this team won, had the best record in the NBA. So to be able to run it back with the same team, Chris Paul is a year older, especially if you can't get in this Kevin Durant sweepstakes, I don't see how the Suns just allow a talent like Deandre to walk out the door with no compensation whatsoever. So I would love to see him back in the Suns uniform unless they can include him in the trade for Kevin Durant.
If the Suns do not get Kevin Durant and Deandre Ayton leaves, how do you feel about them next season?
Well, they definitely would take a step back because they don't have that type of a presence. And there are not many 7-1 guys walking on the streets that are free agents. They also lost JaVale McGee, who was their backup center to the Dallas Mavericks, who signed a $20 million contract with them, a multi-year contract. So it'll be pretty interesting what the Suns' move would be if they can't trade for Kevin Durant and they allow Ayton to walk. and go to the Indiana Pacers.
Avery Johnson, I appreciate it. Like you said, it's going to be a very interesting next 48 hours. We'll talk to you very soon because something's going to happen in the next 48 hours. We know that at least. Taking a look at odds to win the NBA title, where they stand right now, of course, a lot could change. And a lot will change before the season begins. Right now, the Celtics sitting on top, followed by the Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. Let's welcome in our Tim Doyle to talk about this breaking news here. Your reaction to it, Tim?
Deandre Ayton feels loved. That's something that the Phoenix Suns, Amanda, never did. Extended an offer to the #1 pick. That's right. Deandre Ayton went #1 ahead of Trae Young, ahead of Luka Doncic, and he has been a highly productive player. But in the great sitcom Martin, Shanae needs some love. DeAndre needs some love, okay? And the Pacers right now are extending that love. So if you're James Jones, the GM of the Phoenix Suns, you have a decision to make. An Ayton in hand or a Durant in the bush?
So what is it? What do they do then? What would you do if you are the Suns in this position? What do you think they should do?
Yeah, the old saying, right? A bird in hand is worth, 2 in the bush, right? You have Ayton right now, just match it, and then you have him, and then, that Durant thing probably plays on. But you let DeAndre Ayton walk, a former #1 pick, and you get nothing? Nothing in return, meaning you get no trade possibility, you get no Durant. You're in a big problem right now. Like, all of a sudden, the best record in the NBA last year is, then you become a very mediocre squad. So if I'm running the Phoenix Suns, I match this offer and you keep DeAndre Ayton, and then if this Kevin Durant thing happens, now all of a sudden you got to pull some strings with, all right, who wants to take on 4 years, $133 million? It's interesting, Amanda. Last time someone got an offer this big that wasn't matched was Harrison Barnes back in 2016. The Dallas Mavericks offered him $94.4 million, and the Warriors had a chance to match it. They didn't match it. Guess who they went out and signed? Kevin Durant. So you see how this goes full circle right here? We're back to square one again. So if I'm in the Phoenix front office, I match it. If you think you're going to get Durant, you better get Durant.
A lot of people want to go to winning teams. This is not necessarily the case with the Pacers where they have been right now. If he does potentially go there, how much could he elevate this team?
Oh, I think he's a guy who give you 20 and 10 every single night. You see the win percentage last year. Ooh, not good. But I think if I'm DeAndre Ayton, he has to look into the mirror right now and decide, do I want to win, which is going to happen in Phoenix, and a chance to win an NBA championship, or do I want to feel loved? Because his whole group, his team, his management believes that he was a max player. You know who doesn't believe that? The Phoenix Suns. So now he knows that, right? Phoenix has never extended this kind of contract to him. So, he's in an interesting predicament. He's in a great predicament. He just got offered $133 million. So what an amazing spot that he has put himself in, that him, his kids, his kids' kids, his kids' kids' kids, nobody has to worry about money anymore. So it's really up to DeAndre Ayton. You want to play with Chris Paul? I think secretly, Amanda, he doesn't like Chris Paul. But I think Chris Paul's made him a better player, has demanded the most out of him, because Chris Paul is the ultimate professional. I know he's not the ultimate winner. He hasn't won a championship, but he has taken DeAndre Ayton's game to the next level. But I think at the end of the day, DeAndre Ayton's going to end up in Indiana.
Well, he made it very clear about a year ago, that he was worth this. Could the Suns have avoided this entire situation?
Yes, but the Suns are gambling right now. And Amanda, do you know anybody who likes to gamble more than me?
We'll talk about the odds here in a second, yeah.
so they're gambling that they could get Durant. So, for all the basketball fans, look yourselves in the mirror and what would you want to have? Would you rather have DeAndre Ayton? We know what that can get you. Right? Got you to an NBA Finals, got you the best record in the regular season in the NBA. Or do you want Kevin Durant? You know what I mean? Coming in with the Louis Vuitton high heels and stuff, shooting jumpers, getting you 30 a game. There's so much intrigue, right? You want to dance with Kevin. You want to marry. You want to bring home DeAndre Ayton. My parents, 20 and 10, like amazing, right? But Kevin Durant, there's a little vibe to it. You bring an electricity right now to Phoenix. So I don't know. If I was in management, I would just match it because I just think it's too big of a gamble. But if I'm DeAndre Ayton, you just have never felt that love from Phoenix. You're feeling the love right now from the Pacers.
All right, we want to talk about the odds real quickly. to go ahead and win the NBA title next season. As we know, the Celtics are sitting there at the top. Let's look at it, followed by the Warriors at plus 600, the Suns at plus 600. How do odds makers address this right now? What do you feel about these odds?
You know, obviously the odds, if you're betting NBA championships right now, you are one sick individual, and I want to hang out with you. Like, I want to get a tandem bike. I want to go to Fort Lauderdale, fly kites down by the Atlantic Ocean. I want to have a blast with you. But you can't honestly look and have a strong opinion. Like, the Celtics have upgraded their bench, picking up a guy like Malcolm Brogdon. And now they give you an established score off the bench. So if you believe in Boston, now's the time to jump in because they're not players for Kevin Durant. Amanda, I'll tell you who I like. Who ends up with Kevin Durant? You know, that kind of changes the complexity. I had the Brooklyn Nets with Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, healthy Joe Harris. I had them coming out of the East. Who's going to be on their roster? Kyrie wants it. And why? It's like the hokey pokey, you know what I mean? So of all the safe bets right now, I think Philly and Harden and Embiid, you know that those guys are going to be there. And you know that the roster for the Celtics is going to be there. And you know Steph and Clay are going to be there. So to put a wager right now in the Phoenix Suns, take some words of advice from the great William Wallace. Hold, and see what happens.
Give me your percentage chance if you think, you said that you would match it, but you think he's going to end up being a Pacer. If that does happen, what is the chance that the Phoenix Suns next season do not have Deandre Ayton or Kevin Durant?
Oh my God, could you imagine? I mean, what an ultimate hashtag fail, right? I mean, they could taste the champagne, Amanda. You could taste that they were going to win the title. And then they lose to Milwaukee. And then last year, best record in the NBA, throw up on themselves in Game 7. This would be like a great massive decline. That's why if you're management, you think you just got to match, right? It's just a bird in the hand is just worth more than the gamble on Durant. So I do think that they're going to match it. It's going to be kind of weird because I think Ayton has felt disrespected because they've never really, lived up to giving him that love, giving him that money, giving him that contract. But I think at the end of the day, I don't think he wants to be there, but I think they're going to end up matching it. What do you think happens?
I don't know. I don't know how you let him walk. I mean, that would just be really, really tough. And then, like you said, to get absolutely nothing from him, that would just be a punch in the gut. Tim Doyle, thank you so much. The clock is ticking. We'll see what happens in the next 48 hours. And we will talk to you then, Tim Doyle. So keep your phone handy so we can get a hold of you. Odds to win the 2023 NBA championship, Celtics, Warriors, then the Suns. The landscape is changing quickly. Playoff games with 15 points on 60% shooting before the age of 23. Deandre Ayton with 19. Let's welcome in on the phone our Rip Hamilton here to talk about what's going on. Rip, there's a lot of things each side needs to consider right now. If you are each of these teams, actually, let's just go with the Suns right now. If you're the Suns, what are you facing?
Well, if I'm the Suns, I'm trying to figure out now how to do a sign and trade because you don't, like you guys were talking about earlier, you don't want to lose DeAndre Ayton for nothing. I mean, this guy averaged 17 and 10 last year, shot 63% from the field for the Phoenix Suns, and he was the anchor on the defensive end. I know how it feels to lose your best player on the defense end when we lost Ben Wallace going to the Chicago Bulls because of financial reasons. So I think for them, in order for them to get back to playing the way that they were playing last year, especially on the defense end, they got to try to figure out a way to now, if he does end up going to Indiana, which he signed the offer sheet, is to get some pieces back and look for a guy like Miles Turner, for them to get somebody like him back in a sign and trade. But I just don't believe that they're going to be able just to lose him for nothing.
How important is Kevin Durant right now in landing him to the Phoenix Suns, do you think? It's been about a week or so since that news broke, maybe 2 weeks because time flies. How important is Kevin Durant right now to Phoenix?
Well, it is. I mean, like when you're talking about trying to win a championship, the team, Phoenix Suns, has been so close for the last two seasons, and just the way they were able to just go through the regular season. But when it got to the playoffs, they needed another guy. They were very similar to like the Miami Heat. We all knew how great Jimmy Butler was in the playoffs, but they need one more guy. And I feel as though Phoenix is in that same situation now, potentially going to lose Deandre Ayton. I don't think that they're going to match what Indiana's going to what he accepted from Indiana. But I just feel as though that if they can get a guy like KD some way, just knowing that Brooklyn is looking for trade options, then that gets them over the hump, especially in playoff situations. Just knowing that, hey, they need another guy to help Devin Booker anchor the offense. We all know how great Chris Paul is, but he's a guy that's a facilitator, and he's a guy that want to get the ball to his scorers, to get it to his guys, and put them in right position. So if I'm Phoenix, I'm still trying to call Brooklyn Nets each and every day to try to get Kevin Durant on my roster also.
Rip, take us into the mind of a player. Deandre Ayton and his agents have said he knows his worth now for quite some time. He didn't get it when he wanted it from Phoenix. I don't know if he necessarily wants to go to the Pacers. Put us in the mind of Deandre Ayton right now.
Well, I know he's battling a whole lot of emotions right now because, trust and believe, he just doesn't want to leave Phoenix Suns. I mean, ever since Chris Paul got on that roster, he done made Deandre Ayton into an all-star. Especially from the offensive end. We knew always how great Deandre Ayton was on the defensive end, but I think he was able to develop, especially playing with great guards. And anytime you can play with great guards, with Chris Paul and Devin Booker, it makes a big job a lot more easier. He was drafted there, played college basketball in Arizona. So he's battling a whole lot of emotions right now, especially when you have success. It's not like he's leaving a bad team where it's like, oh, okay, the grass is a lot greener on the other side. When you look at the Indiana Pacers, I mean, one, they trade Sabonis last year. They added Tyrese Halliburton to the roster, which is a great young guy. They get the kid Benedict from Arizona. This is more of a rebuilding situation for them. They traded Malcolm Brogdon last season. So this is more of a rebuilding. He's not going there to win right now. So I know a lot of things is going on his head right now. He still has championship aspirations. And to be so close with the Phoenix Suns and now have to go to a situation where you're more on a rebuilding team, it's definitely an emotional roller coaster.
Well, and especially at such a young age, just 23 years old, still turning 24 in a couple of weeks. Rip Hamilton, we always appreciate your insight there, former NBA champ, joining us on the phone to talk about this breaking news. Deandre Ayton agreeing to a 4-year, $133 million offer sheet with the Pacers. Taking a look at the odds to win the NBA championship, the Suns now have 48 hours to match that deal. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.